It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show. And now the host, Calvin Logan.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan, and stay tuned. Tune in to what we're doing here at the Logan Power Show. The Logan Power Show, nationwide, worldwide. As you can see, we're in the Logan Power Show studios, and we're excited for another episode of the Logan Power Show. We're excited for you all that you're subscribing to the Logan Power Show channel on YouTube. You're subscribing to us follow us on Twitter, the Logan Power Show on Instagram, and also on Facebook. See our website today at www.theloganpowershow.us. Well, I got with me a singer that sings from heaven. She's not going to allow circumstances, situations to stop her from letting her heavenly voice be displayed to the world. She's the one and only first time in the Logan Power Show, the one and only Michelle Brooks Thompson. How you doing, Mel?
I'm good. Thank you so much, Calvin, for having me on your show.
Absolutely. Well, it's a blessing for you to have us. We're honored for you to come and grace us here on the stage at the Logan Power Show. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, how you got started in music, and why do you love doing what you do?
Well, I always say that I think I started in utero because my mom was a singer and a recording artist. And she always told me stories that when she would be in the studio recording, she'd have to stop because the moment she started singing, the music started. I would just be going crazy on the inside. So I think I was trying to get my debut solo, probably at around 8 or 9 months in the womb. But when I came out, I started at a very young age, around 4 or 5, and my mom knew that I had a talent. So she started cultivating that within me, getting me in piano, giving me vocal trainings. And by the time I was 10, I was actually singing in a group with my mom and my aunt and singing in the adult choir at church. And so it kind of just evolved from there. And I ended up going to school for music and pursuing that. I actually started out as a pre-med major because I wanted to do something other than music because everybody had done that in my family. So I was like, let me just do music. And God was like, no, I've called you to this. This is your purpose and your passion. So I went on to change my major my senior year of college and got a degree in vocal performance and piano. And since then, I've been singing for different churches, served as minister of music for years for my grandfather's church, supported other musical artists, singing background. And then finally, in I would say 2012 is when I began doing my own solo music and projects. And many of you watching this show might recognize my face or my name from The Voice or The Apollo, or many videos circulating of me performing the national anthem, or Bobby Jones. Just a whole host of things that God has allowed me to do in my career. So.
All right. Well, God always elevates. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. That's why I always pass on to people that I meet and encounter. So, being a finalist on The Voice, that was definitely something that, is a great accomplishment. People can't say they ain't got that far in the game. Winning the thing is one thing, but just getting to the audition part and say I'm getting through the different levels. But let's talk about, which is really important, the shift in majors. I know a lot of times as a senior, you're trying to say, I'm trying to graduate. Let me get this degree. But making a shift change in such a pivotal time of your career classification, how was that discussion with the Lord? Because I know something like, God, you must have lost your mind. I am in my senior year. I am trying to graduate. That puts a little extra time on me, Lord.
Yes.
What was that discussion and praying through the night? How you had to battle to make a decision? I'm gonna gotta stay a little bit longer to get up out of here.
Well, God is so good. And I know that it was all Him because I still graduated on time. And I had to test out of all of the prerequisites for music theory that I would have had to take leading up to the level that I needed to be at to graduate on time. And I had never been exposed to really music theory at all. And I had an hour exam. And I mean, they're going through everything within a 3-year span of time within an hour. And that was all God, because I passed with flying colors, never having studied music theory or anything. And we're talking about someone sitting at a piano playing a chord, me hearing the chord and calling out what that chord was. So that was very challenging, but my family was in support, but not in support because they were like, well, what are you going to do with music? You need to go to school to be a doctor. And, I said, I just feel that my purpose in life involves music and ministry. And my minor was in religion in college because I knew I always was going to be in ministry, some type of ministry and preaching and spreading the gospel. And so that never left me. But really what my passion was, it wasn't to heal people on the physical side. It was to heal people spiritually. So I was confident in the decision and the calling that God had for me. And He has shown that in my life since my graduation that I made the right decision.
Absolutely. The Lord gives you definitive purpose. As you can see, people who are purpose driven have a sort of a piece of the actual life that they have, and not, as you would say, frustrated that I'm not doing what I'm called to do. So you are a sensation, not only on the been on The Voice, Bobby Jones, gospel. I know that's an exciting moment, and then you're in ministry still now, doing what God has called you to do. When you think about where you started to where you are, is there one thing that you say to yourself, like there's like a aha moment, like this was the time when I knew where I was going to be successful? Like I knew it was this particular moment in my life that this shift came. So was there something in particular, like a certain part? Because I know that when you're doing The Voice, that's not easy. When you're doing other things, it's not easy either. And there's always the people that want to, hop on the train of success when it's good, but no one talks about the journey and what the steps or the levels to even get to that. So is there one particular moment in your life that you say that was the turning point for me? Or was it this? I'm transferring, like from making that shift to being when you're on your senior year of college, or was it something else that said, I knew God, I knew I was going to move to the next level?
There's a lot in that answer. So my journey has been definitely a book in itself that hasn't been put into paper, hasn't been binded together yet. But what I will say is that God has always been strategic in my life, and everything that has happened has always been by divine appointment, whether it be good in my journey or whether it be something that I regard as bad. But when we think about the scripture, Romans 8:28, there really is no bad because everything has to work together for our good. And so when I look at, making that shift, pursuing music and really trying to stay the course and the path of what God had for me, one of the things that was most important to me learning so that I could walk in what God had for me was yielding to Him. And that's difficult when sometimes our flesh is very demanding and we want things now. We want things to happen instantly. And when you wait and yield to God, He moves in His timing. And so, you know, with The Voice, that was a very pivotal moment in my spiritual life, because that was a moment of faith. That was a moment of trusting him and waiting on him. And I understand now what God was doing then with The Voice, because it was all for his glory and all a part of my testimony. Because, you know, like so many artists, you're trying to get out there. You're looking for those big platforms that'll put you in front of the right people, you know, in the industry. And I had auditioned for Sunday's Best twice, didn't make it through round 3, which is on to the show. I had auditioned for American Idol. Oh gosh. And I had auditioned for one other show. And finally, I was like, God, you know what? This obviously is not the door you have for me. So I'm going to just be still and I'm going to wait, because if you've called me to this in my season, you're going to elevate me when it's time. And I had come back from an audition, and I didn't, it didn't go well. And I remember feeling a little disappointed about that. And my pastor was preaching one Sunday, and this was in July 2011. And as he was preaching, he turned around to me in the middle of the choir stand and said to me, God said this time next year, you're going to be in LA, and it's going to be for something bigger and better than you ever dreamed of. And I was like, okay, you know, yes, God, I received that. Yes, wonderful. And had really no more thought about it. And I wasn't like, okay, God, you said you're going to move. You know, sometimes we get excited when God, you know, sends a prophetic word for us and we're like, okay, is it going to happen tomorrow? And I kind of just forgot about it. And when let me see, that was in July. So when February came, I still hadn't remembered what God had spoken to me. And it was like, sometimes you just know when God is moving for you, because things just align up so perfectly. And you're like, this has got to be God. Like, there's no way that this is happening without him. And it was after church. I was in my house sitting down, and I just happened to be watching The Voice, and my aunt called me. And, you know, she was like, hey, you know, why don't you audition for The Voice? And I was like, nope, I'm not going to do that, because I told God that I would be still. I would not go pursuing anything. I wasn't going to do it unless he called me to it. And that takes a lot of faith and obedience, because when you want something so bad for yourself and you feel like you can make it happen, you want to be like, okay, God, I don't need you. You just stay right there. I'm going to go ahead and make this happen for myself. But I was really committed, and I was like, no, but thank you. You sing. Why don't you go do it? You know? So the very next morning, I woke up to a message from a talent scout who had met me through my previous performances and was following my career. And she said, you know, there's a major network TV show. It's a talent competition, and I want to recommend you for a private audition. And so, you know, I called her and I said, hey, you know, what is it? And she said, it's NBC's The Voice. And I said, oh, I was like, that's interesting. And I said, well, I'm not really interested in that, but thank you for thinking of me, right? So God had used my aunt the night before. Then the very next day, he used someone to say, here, I have a private audition for you. Don't worry about that open call stuff. Don't worry about standing in lines. I have an open private audition for you. And all you need to do is show up. So I declined. And 5 days later, I was teaching music at a school at the time. And one of the faculty members came up to me as I was waiting for an assembly to start. And she whispered in my ear, she said, you should audition for The Voice. And I said, what did you say? She was like, you need to go on The Voice. And I was like, really? I said, that's interesting, because that's sort of been the theme this week, go on The Voice. And I declined for 3 weeks. The talent scout reached out and I was just like, nope, God, if this ain't you, I ain't doing it. I'm not moving. I'm all set. And literally it came down to a last minute thing where my husband stepped in and he was like, you're going. I talked to my pastor. My pastor told me I should go. I had talked to one of the missionaries that I trust. She told me I should go. And then finally, my husband was like, you're going to the audition. I'm driving you and you're going to sing. And from there, the rest was really like just one thing after another. It happened so fast. And God really opened that door for me. And I just showed up. And, even after The Voice, God has shown me that all worked together for my good and what he was doing in my life. And so, my journey, has it been easy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I like to be transparent about that because there are other artists that are coming up behind me. And sometimes all they see is the success and they never hear about the hard work, the tears, because there have been tears. I'd be lying if I say there wasn't. There have been tears. There have been disappointments. There have been questions of, doubt, like, God, did you really call me to this? Because I don't see it manifesting. Like, there's our time is not his timing. And I've learned that through this journey. And so, I think, again, as I said, that God has been so strategic that I really don't have an explanation for anything that has happened in my life other than that God has divinely appointed every single thing that has happened for me.
Absolutely. And the Lord's been good. The song you sang, Proud Mary, that was it. For those who don't know, yes, the song is Proud Mary. The lady sung it. She is somebody. It has over 230,000 people have heard you sing this song. And you that's on YouTube, but definitely we're going to play that for us here at the end of this interview because I want you to let them know that this lady can sing. But let's see, because we want to make sure that we get all vibrant with it. You feel up to singing a song? There's a get a little teaser for some of those folks who know you can sing.
Yeah. What song?
Oh yeah, listen. You go to the flow. We want to close the Logan Power Show on a high note. We want to show the people that you are the real deal and that God has a plan for you. So the floor is yours. I'm gonna let you sing a little bit.
Okay. I'm just going to sing a little bit of my song that's out right now called Never Give Up. And it really is a testimony to myself to never give up. And as you're waiting on God to, manifest the promise, you're waiting on God to, answer a prayer, like you never give up. You keep the faith, even if it's just a little tiny seed of, a mustard seed of faith. Sometimes the enemy can make you feel discouraged. Sometimes the enemy can make you feel alone. Sometimes the enemy distracts you from your purpose. But keep on fighting because you're strong. Sometimes the winds of life keep changing your direction. Sometimes the trials of life can knock you to the floor. But hold your head up high. God will lead and guide you. He won't leave you. So please hold on. And never give up, never give in. You're closer to the top, you're closer to the wind. Ooh. Never give up, never give in. You're closer to the top, You're closer to the wind.
I told y'all this woman can sing. She can sing. Like I said, sang it in church. Y'all gotta
Thank
sing.
you.
She's singing. So y'all heard it first. The one and only Michelle Brooks Thompson, the real deal. Once, like I said, she's a minister. She's a pastor. She's a wife.
Pastor, Lord Jesus. People keep calling me pastor.
She a
Okay, Lord.
she a family woman. You got your degree in ministry. I mean, she's ready to launch out. So she's launching out to the deep. For those keep the faith, know God has a plan for you to never give up, never give in. You know God has a plan for us, and that's to win. So that's all the time I got. My name is Calvin of the Logan Power Show, nationwide, worldwide. We love you. We'll see you soon.
Left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. And I never lost one minute of sleeping, and I wasn't worried about the way the things might have been. You know that our bigger wheels keep on turning, and the problems keep on burning, and we're rolling.
I told you, come on.
Rolling on the river. Well, I left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. And I know something else, working on the way that we were right up in.
Thank you.
Keep on burning, and we're rolling, yeah, rolling on the river. I said we're rolling on the river. River, do. All right,
Logan Power Show, inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show, informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show.